when JD he's grabbing this, but he was like, "Hey, do you need that?" And I was like, "I don't know, but he needs it, so we're going to share it." So as Adam was saying, one of the things he's talking about with this series, when he contacted me, he says, "So what stood out to you, or what was kind of important to you that you want to share?" And so, we went through the series, and like the very first thing that we talked about was Saturday, going through Saturday, that it's a non-negotiable. And so for me, the scripture he used was John 16:33. And so I'm going to go back through it and then I'm going to kind of talk on it. So I'm using the Amplified. So this is after, when we're looking at our lives. And the cool thing is, before I get into it, is with my wife and the people in my small group and the people that I come encounter with that have been coming to church here, that multiple times somebody has said something about what we've been studying. And it's refreshing, because so many times that we go through it and then it's Sunday, but then you don't really talk anything else about it. But so many times I've had conversations the last couple of weeks where somebody's saying something about the sermon or something about what they've got. So it's been refreshing for me. But John 16:33 says this: "I have told you these things so that in me you may have perfect peace. In the world you have tribulation and distress and suffering, but be courageous, be confident, be undaunted, be filled with joy. I have overcome the world. My conquest is accomplished. My victory is abiding." So the thing that I want to look at is the word tribulation. Because he says that in the world you have tribulation. In the world you have distress. In the world you have suffering. So that's where we're at right now. We're in the world. Those are the things that we see, and that's where we're living right now in the natural. The word tribulation in the Greek is lipsis. So that's kind of weird. Lipsis. So I'm not a Greek scholar, but what it means is a pressing. It means pressing together or pressure. So when we look at tribulations, how many times do you feel like there's something pressing against you? How many times do you feel like something is pressing down on you? And then that life that you're living, it also means affliction, trouble, anguish, persecution, burden. So I think that's all of us. That in the world you have afflictions. In the world you have troubles. In the world you have anguish. In the world you become persecuted. In the world you become burdened, pushed down, pressed down, and nowhere to go. That's in the world. It says, but be courageous, be confident, be undaunted, and be filled with joy, because I have overcome the world. That's God. Jesus is saying that to the disciples. I have overcome the world. So all these things that we're living through, He's already done it. So when the series was living through that Saturday, living through when everything has gone wrong, nothing is the way I planned it. Today I woke up and things are not the way I want them to be. At that point, you'll live through that. But God, Jesus, that's a great thing to always say, but God, He's overcome the world. But God has overcome the world. But God has overcome those circumstances, the press downs. He's got to be above that. And we can live in that. So one of the things I want to talk about was, and Adam's talked on this a little bit before, was in Acts, Saul of Tarsus, he went through and he persecuted the Christians. And then all these things were happening. God met him on the road, struck him blind. Then, at that point, he had a vision. It was told to go to Ananias, and then Ananias had the vision, hey, God's going to come to you, and then I'm going to send him to you, and you're going to heal him, and then help him see again. I want to read this to you. This is Acts 9:13. But Ananias answered to the Lord and said, Lord, I've heard from many people about this man, especially how much suffering and evil he has brought on your saints, on the God's people at Jerusalem, and there in Damascus as well. He has authority from the high priest to put in chains all who call on your name and confess to you as Savior. But the Lord said to him, this is what the Lord told Ananias, go, for this man is deliberately chosen, an instrument of mine, to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the sons of Israel. For I will make clear to him how much he must suffer and endure for my name's sake. So this is Paul, used to be Saul, wrote over a third of the New Testament. But at the very beginning, God told Ananias this, for I will make clear how much he must suffer and endure for my name's sake. So why do we think that we don't have to live through that Saturday? Why do we think we're not going to suffer or go through things walking in this world? Why do we think that? He says that He will make it clear how much He will suffer and endure. That we will have to suffer through some things. We will have to get through some things. We'll have to go to work and not enjoy it. We'll have to go home and listen to the things going on. We'll have to have kids that are disrespectful and don't understand. And they have messy rooms, messy bathrooms. Don't want to get dressed for church on Sunday. There's some dude looking around right here. He doesn't know who I'm talking to. Yeah, some days you're going to have those days, and you're going to look at it and say, but how much will I suffer for God? And if I'm suffering for God, then man, it's all worth it. When Adam was talking about the things we go through, and then this series, and then something that came up, and then we kind of shifted in the middle of things. And so last week, he was talking about prayer. And he was talking about faith and talking about the power of prayer. So we could look at it like this. There's a situation that's happened to somebody that needs prayer. Or we can look at it that at this point we had a coachable, teachable moment. And we're able to speak faith and teach faith to people and talk about the power of God and the power of the name, as Kurt talked about earlier. That we have the ability to speak life. We have the ability to be vessels to pray for people, speak for people, and make things happen because God has empowered us. But we took that situation and didn't say, oh, woe is me, woe is what's going on, woe is this little girl with the doctors say, and I want to air quote that, the doctors say has a disease. We're going to talk about the power of the God that we serve, the power of the God that has miracles, the power of the God that has healing, and we're going to talk that, and we're going to teach that, and we're going to look at it and say, don't even come up here and pray. Don't even pray to my God unless you know who my God is, unless you know the power that my God has. If you don't do it. But let me teach you about who God is and the power that God has. Then I'm going to teach you that. So we took a situation. We take a situation and what God says, or not what God says, but what man says. And we said, that's what man says. That is what this says. And it says, in the world you will have these things. You will have tribulations, distress, sufferings. But be courageous, because in God who's overcome the world, we're going to rise above that. We might walk through this Saturday not knowing what's going on, but we're going to know that that day comes. Amen. That day comes, and we know who our God is. And that's the God that I serve. That's the God that JP serves when he looks it up and he goes, I am grateful to be alive in the house of the Lord this morning, serving my Jesus. That's the God that Kurt gets up there and he can't sit still because God has empowered him to use his voice to sing out and praise. Because that's all he can do is praise the Lord. But in the world, you have tribulations. You have distresses. You have those sufferings. You have afflictions. You have troubles, anguish, persecutions, burden. That's in the world. But God. Be courageous. Be confident. Be filled with joy.